a gentle, conscious, respectful parent, whatever you want to call it, this is why I don't use fear tactics to get my kid to cooperate. I want to preface this video with, I know that using fear to get your kid to cooperate works. It's why so many people do it. When my mom told me that the boogeyman was gonna come get me, or my eyeballs were gonna fall out, or even she was gonna call the cops on me if I didn't go to sleep, you bet your ass my eyes were closed and I was forcing myself to go to sleep. And in 2021, I started attending therapy and my anxiety was so bad, but for some reason it was specifically around bedtime. Not only did I never feel safe when it was dark outside, but even in my own home with the doors locked, I had so many intrusive thoughts and I was postpartum. The images I had in my head of men breaking into my home Elizabeth Smart style and unaliving me and my children, they were wild. And if my husband was out of town and that added layer of safety was gone, not sleeping. My anxiety, too bad. My therapist pointed me toward my relationship with sleep and how bad it's been since I was a child and how I've always been anxious and fearful around bedtime. Did you know that anxiety disorder is the most common mental illness in the US? I'm not saying that fear tactics used throughout childhood is the only cause of anxiety. Don't hear what I'm not saying. But as somebody that posts a lot of parenting and lifestyle content, I've seen far too many comments of people explaining that the use of fear and force made them develop such a terrible relationship and anxiety with such normal parts of life. A few examples being using fear to keep your kids safe. Don't run near the road or you're gonna unalive yourself. If you don't wear a seatbelt, you're gonna unalive yourself. If you go near sharp objects, you're gonna unalive yourself. It really does seem harmless until your kid grows up and they have this really bad safety anxiety and they have a hard time taking risks and being adventurous. You've diminished their ability to trust themselves around things that may be dangerous. It's not always worst case scenario. Another example being threatening your kids that you're gonna leave the room if they're acting up. You're gonna leave them home or you're gonna isolate them when they're not listening. This is why I don't use timeout. Again, it works when they're kids, but why do you think so many of us have separation anxiety and cling on to things that make us feel remotely safe? So many adults are labeled clingy, rightfully so. And lastly, I have a video explaining that one day I told my daughter, you gotta finish everything that's on your plate for lunch. You didn't have a good breakfast. And my daughter goes, it's my body, what I say goes. I was fucking floored, but she was right. Who am I to say? But so many parents use fear and force to get their kids to eat. Everyone in the comment section of that video is like, yes, trust your daughter's body because my mom didn't, because I was forced to eat. I have developed the worst relationship with food. So many people shared their eating disorder stories, and that is so terribly sad because something that's so well-intentioned as parents, we want to feed our kids and make sure they're nourished, can turn into something so awful. I'm not saying that you have to shit on your parents for parenting you the only way they knew how, but you are not hurting anyone by acknowledging the fact that traditional behaviorist parenting is outdated and our kids deserve better.